The shuttle Valiant Horizon cut through the stormy skies above the volcanic moon, carrying the last group of colonists from the Vorath fortress. Captain Jason Kane sat in the pilot's seat, eyes scanning the horizon. The final stretch of the mission had tested every skill, every instinct, and every ounce of courage he possessed. Yet the oath remained clear: they would protect all, not just one. Lieutenant Arlen monitored the ship's systems, her fingers flying over the controls. "Captain, the Vorath are converging fast. They have reinforced their patrols and launched multiple skimmer drones. We are running out of space to maneuver." Jason nodded, his mind calculating possibilities at lightning speed. "We adapt. We think ahead. We survive." Humans had a way of turning impossible odds into opportunities. That ingenuity, combined with Illyrian agility, was their greatest strength. Outside, the Vorath war machines advanced, energy cannons glowing ominously. Patrols swarmed across the cliffs, scanning for movement. Even with the shuttle's stealth capabilities, detection was likely. Kane's jaw tightened. This was the ultimate test, not just of skill but of leadership, courage, and human determination. "Everyone stay calm," Kane called over the comm system. The colonists huddled together in the shuttle's rear cabin, their faces pale but trusting. Kane had inspired them from the beginning, showing that courage and clear thinking could overcome fear. "We are almost safe. Stick to the plan, and we will all make it through." Lyra, leading the Illyrian flanking unit, tapped Kane's comlink. "Captain, the Vorath have activated the energy turrets along the canyon edges. If we try a direct escape, we'll be destroyed." Kane studied the tactical map projected in the shuttle. "Then we don't go direct. We use the terrain, the storm, and a little human ingenuity. Arlen, ready the auxiliary thrusters. We'll weave through the canyon's lightning arcs and create our own path of invisibility, using the storm's interference." Arlen smiled faintly. "That's risky, but it might just work." The shuttle descended into the jagged canyon. Lightning split the sky, illuminating the fortress and patrols below. Kane guided the ship with precision, using the turbulent storm to hide their movements. The Vorath fired blindly, energy blasts striking the canyon walls. The shuttle weaved and dodged with perfect timing, human reflexes and quick calculations keeping everyone alive. Suddenly, a Vorath war machine emerged from the shadows, larger and more dangerous than any they had faced. It fired a sweeping blast and the shuttle rocked violently. Kane's hands were steady, but every movement mattered. "Illyrians, create diversions on the cliffs," Kane ordered. "Humans, focus on keeping the shuttle stable. We'll split their attention and make a run for the extraction point." Lyra and her team executed perfectly. Energy bursts flashed across the cliffs, drawing the war machine's fire away from the shuttle. Kane used the opportunity to guide the craft through a narrow pass, the walls mere meters away. Every second felt like an eternity, but humans thrived under pressure. Arlen adjusted the shields in tandem with Kane's maneuvers. "Captain, the energy output is maxed. Any more hits and we risk system failure." Jason's eyes narrowed. "Then we finish this now. Hold steady." The shuttle hovered silently above the volcanic moon, its engines humming against the roar of the planet's active storms. Captain Jason Kane studied the Vorath fortress below. Massive towers bristled with energy weapons, walls pulsed with power shields, and patrols scuttled across every visible surface. It was a fortress built to intimidate and kill anyone foolish enough to approach. Jason's jaw tightened. This was the largest colony yet, and the most heavily guarded. The colonists were trapped underground, and every second delayed would increase the danger. Around him, his team checked their equipment, their faces serious. Humans and Illyrians had faced tough missions before, but nothing on this scale. "Captain," Lieutenant Arlen said, pointing at a tactical hologram, "the Vorath have layered defenses, turrets, patrols, energy barriers, and sensor drones everywhere. Any approach could trigger an alarm." Jason nodded. "We don't have the luxury of a frontal assault. We move like shadows, but with precision. Every path must be covered, every exit secured. Remember, we cannot save just one. All lives must come with us." The team split into specialized units. Kane led the main human team toward the maintenance tunnels, which ran underneath the fortress. Arlen took another group through ventilation shafts. Illyrians, agile and fast, scaled the cliffs and outer walls to flank the enemy and create diversions. As they entered the tunnels, the first challenge appeared. The passage was narrow and littered with debris. Vorath guards patrolled above, their footsteps heavy and echoing through the floors. Kane crouched low, whispering instructions. Move slowly, stay close. Watch for vibrations. If one of you makes a sound, it could alert them all. The humans and colonists followed carefully, each step a balance between speed and silence. Kane's mind raced through the Vorath patrol schedules, predicting patterns, calculating timing, and finding openings. It was like a chess game, but with deadly stakes. A sudden vibration shook the tunnel. Kane froze. He signaled his team to stop. A Vorath sentry was inspecting the entrance to the lower chambers. Kane's mind worked quickly. He reached into his pack and pulled out a small reflective device, a human invention designed to scatter light and create a visual decoy. He placed it on the floor and activated it. The Vorath guard paused, seeing a flicker of movement, then moved toward it. Kane exhaled quietly and led the team past the checkpoint. Meanwhile, Arlen's team crawled through the ventilation shafts. Small openings provided glimpses of patrols below. Using handheld jammers, Arlen disrupted the Vorath sensors for a short window. The team moved quickly and silently, guiding the trapped colonists toward the tunnels Kane's team had cleared. Back in the tunnels, Kane faced another obstacle, a collapsed passage leading directly to a chamber holding more colonists. The debris was massive and the human team needed time to clear it. Kane didn't hesitate. "Everyone grab what you can," he commanded. Using portable cutting tools and strength, the team worked together. Sparks flew, metal groaned, and the sound of cracking rock echoed through the tunnel. The Vorath outside were moments away from discovering them. Kane felt the pressure, but he kept his focus sharp. Finally, the passage opened, revealing a group of frightened colonists. Children clung to their parents, and some adults were injured. Kane knelt, helping them move toward the safety of the tunnels. "Stay close. Follow me exactly. We will get you out. I promise you, not one will be left behind." The team moved through the labyrinth of tunnels using every skill they had. The Vorath were relentless, but humans and Illyrians adapted faster. Every step was calculated, every decision precise. Above ground, the Illyrians executed diversions. They used energy bursts to simulate attacks in multiple locations, drawing patrols away from the tunnels. Small explosions and holographic decoys scattered the Vorath, creating confusion. Kane's team moved through the tunnels, taking advantage of every distraction. Even so, the mission was far from easy. The Vorath had anticipated some routes, and a squad of warhounds appeared, sniffing and scanning for movement. Kane acted instinctively, grabbing a fallen metal panel and sliding it into the path. The warhounds collided with it, temporarily stunned. Arlen's team used this moment to lead the colonists further down the tunnels, away from danger. The team reached a massive underground chamber where the largest number of colonists were held. Energy barriers blocked the exits, and Vorath guards patrolled continuously. Kane studied the situation carefully. There was no time for hesitation, no chance for a simple attack. They needed a human solution, unpredictable, clever, and fast. "Divide into 2 teams, Kane instructed. Team 1 creates a distraction near the barriers. Team 2 guides the colonists through the emergency maintenance shafts I mapped earlier. Timing must be perfect. On my signal." The humans and Illyrians moved with precision. Sparks and controlled explosions drew the Vorath guards to the far side of the chamber. Kane's team guided the colonists into the shafts, navigating twists and turns that only the human mind could plan so efficiently. One young boy tripped, screaming as a Vorath patrol approached. Kane didn't hesitate. He scooped the child up, shielded him with his body, and sprinted through the maintenance shaft while Illyrian allies neutralized the nearest guards. Every action relied on courage, speed, and teamwork. Outside, the storm on the volcanic moon grew fiercer. Lightning cracked across the sky, illuminating the fortress and the chaotic battlefield. Kane's team used the storm as cover, moving quickly across open spaces. Energy turrets fired wildly, but human improvisation and Illyrian agility kept the group out of reach. Finally, after hours of careful movement, they reached the extraction point. Kane counted the colonists, every single one had made it. The human and Illyrian teams exchanged exhausted smiles. Not one life had been left behind, but victory was not yet complete. As the shuttle lifted off, a massive Vorath war machine appeared on the horizon, moving directly toward them. It was taller than the extraction point, armed with multiple energy cannons and reinforced armor. Kane's heart raced. "Everyone, hold tight," he said. "We're not out yet. Humans adapt and we improvise. We can handle this." The war machine fired a volley of energy blasts, forcing the shuttle to maneuver aggressively. Kane used a combination of evasive flight patterns and precise timing to avoid the blasts. Arlen managed the shields, diverting energy where it was most needed. Illyrians worked with human guidance to control secondary thrusters, keeping the shuttle steady amidst chaos. Kane realized that a direct fight was impossible. Instead, he used the shuttle's stealth features to disappear briefly behind the rocky terrain. The Vorath war machine recalculated, moving toward the wrong coordinates. Kane's strategy worked. They bought just enough time to escape the fortress's immediate danger. As they flew into the storm, the colonists huddled together, exhausted and terrified. Kane offered reassuring words, though he knew the mission was far from over. The Vorath were relentless, but humans and Illyrians had proven that cunning, courage, and teamwork could overcome even the deadliest of foes. During the flight to the final colony, Kane reviewed the mission's progress. They had saved multiple groups, navigated deadly terrain, and evaded or neutralized Vorath forces. The ancient oath had guided them every step of the way. Kane realized that humans did not just act bravely. They thought ahead, adapted quickly, and inspired those around them to act with courage. "Captain," Arlen said quietly, "the Vorath will reinforce their defenses after this. The final colony is our biggest challenge. They will expect us." Jason nodded. "Then we will be even smarter. Humans survive because we adapt faster than our enemies. We think, we plan, and we improvise. That is how we save all lives, not just one." The final colony lay across a canyon, surrounded by cliffs and Vorath patrols. It was the last and largest obstacle. Kane gathered his team for a final briefing. "We have one chance," he said. "The Vorath expect us to fail. But humans never fail when it comes to protecting others. Illyrians, stay sharp. Humans, trust your instincts. And colonists, follow our lead exactly. We will get you out together." The team nodded. Exhaustion was written on every face, but determination burned brightly. Every step, every action, every decision mattered. The mission was not just about survival. It was about honor, courage, and the human way of protecting all, never just one. As night fell on the volcanic moon, the team moved out. Shadows stretched across the jagged terrain, and lightning illuminated the Vorath patrols in brief flashes. Kane led his group, calculating each move, predicting enemy patterns and guiding the colonists through the safest paths. They encountered obstacles at every turn, collapsing cliffs, energy traps, and relentless Vorath patrols. But humans improvised. They created makeshift bridges, used reflective surfaces to mislead sensors, and coordinated perfectly with Illyrian allies. Every move showcased the ingenuity and courage that humans were known for. At one point, a Vorath warhound charged from the shadows. Kane acted instantly, hurling a lightweight energy net to entangle it while an Illyrian ally disabled its sensors. The colonists moved past unharmed, inspired by Kane's bravery. Finally, after hours of tense movement, the team reached the hidden extraction point. The shuttle hovered above, ready to take them to safety. Kane counted the colonists carefully. Every single one had made it. The ancient oath had been honored once again. The shuttle shuddered as it pierced the thick atmosphere of the next colony. Outside, dark clouds swirled violently, stirred by the planetary storms that made travel treacherous. Captain Jason Kane gripped the control console, his knuckles white, but his eyes were steady. The shuttle was built for speed and survival, but even the best technology could only do so much in this environment. Lieutenant Arlen, seated beside him, tapped furiously on the navigation panel. "Captain, the Vorath have patrols in every quadrant. Any misstep and we could be spotted before even landing. The terrain is unpredictable. Cliffs, energy spikes, and unstable rock formations everywhere." Jason nodded. "We don't have a choice. The colonists can't wait. Remember, we're not saving just one. We are saving all, and that means going in with courage, speed, and brains. That's what humans do best." The Illyrian crew members checked their armor and weapons, their translucent suits glowing faintly in the shuttle light. Their eyes were sharp, scanning every sensor readout, but Kane noticed the tension in their posture. Humans and Illyrians alike were stepping into a deadly territory. Failure could mean death, but retreat was not an option. When the shuttle touched down on the jagged cliffs near the colony, the team moved quickly. Kane led the first group, descending ropes and grappling hooks down the rocky face. The wind howled, making the ropes sway violently, but Kane's team moved with precision. The Vorath were known for their acute senses. Sound, motion, and even heat could give away a human or Illyrian. Stay close and silent, Kane whispered. We move like shadows or we fail. The first group of colonists was in a small research outpost near the cliff base. Kane and his team navigated through twisted metal corridors, avoiding the Vorath patrols that moved like dark streaks in the storm. Each step required focus, patience, and improvisation. One of the Illyrians, a scout named Lyra, signaled to Kane. 2 Vorath guards ahead. They are scanning the area. Jason crouched and studied their patterns. We can't take them head on. We create a distraction. Follow my lead. He reached into his pack and pulled out a small device. Human ingenuity at its best. It was a sound emitter, tuned to mimic Vorath movement. Kane activated it, tossing it down the corridor. The guards immediately moved toward the noise, giving Kane's team a clear path. Move, Kane hissed. The team slipped past silently, colonists following closely. Even the youngest children were calm, guided by Kane's steady presence. Humans had a way of inspiring courage without words, simply by acting boldly and decisively. As they reached the exit, a sudden roar shook the facility. A Vorath warhound, twice the size of a human, lunged at the group. Kane acted instinctively, grabbing a fallen metal pipe and swinging it to block the creature's attack. Lyra fired an energy bolt, stunning the beast temporarily. Kane grabbed the nearest colonist and ran, heart pounding, mind focused. Outside, the shuttle waited. The team loaded the colonists carefully, making sure none were left behind. Kane counted each one, every life mattered. Meanwhile, Arlen monitored the situation from the shuttle. Captain, sensors indicate other colonies are under simultaneous attack. The Vorath are coordinated. If we only rescue this one group first, the others may not survive. Jason's jaw tightened. Then we split. Illyrians take the smaller outposts. Humans go with me to the largest facility. We coordinate via comlinks. Timing is everything. The Illyrian units moved like wind over the cliffs, their agility allowing them to bypass patrols and traps. Kane's human team relied on quick thinking and improvisation. Together they were unstoppable, but only if they acted perfectly. At the largest colony, the situation was worse than Kane expected. The Vorath had established a fortified perimeter, with energy turrets and patrols everywhere. The colonists were trapped in underground shelters, their exits blocked by rubble and energy barriers. Kane studied the schematics Arlen projected on the comm panel. We'll have to create multiple entry points, Kane said. I'll lead one group through the maintenance tunnels. Arlen, you take the ventilation shafts. Lyra and the Illyrians flank from the cliff sides. Timing is critical. We all move at the same moment. The team split into their positions. Kane led his group down the maintenance tunnels, the narrow passageways forcing them into single file. The walls were slick with condensation, and the distant sounds of Vorath patrols echoed ominously. Every step could trigger a fight. Every wrong move could alert the enemy. In the ventilation shafts, Arlen crawled silently, the metal vibrating faintly under his weight. He could see the guards below through the grated openings. Using a small device, he temporarily jammed the Vorath sensors, allowing a clear path for the colonists. Back in the tunnels, Kane's team encountered a collapsed passage. Colonists were trapped behind fallen debris. Kane didn't hesitate. He grabbed a portable cutting tool, slicing through metal and rock. Sparks flew, illuminating the frightened faces of the trapped humans. Stay calm, Kane said. We will get you out. Follow me exactly as I move. One by one, the colonists were freed. Kane checked each one carefully. There was no time for mistakes. Every life mattered. Outside, Lyra and the Illyrians created diversions. Explosions of controlled energy bursts drew Vorath patrols away from the colony entrances. The coordination was flawless, human planning and Illyrian agility working as one. Even as they moved, the team faced challenges. Vorath patrols returned faster than expected. A young colonist stumbled on the rough terrain and a Vorath warhound approached. Kane acted instantly, using his energy shield to protect the child while his team neutralized the threat. Hours passed, and one by one, the colonists were evacuated. Kane's team faced exhaustion, but there was no room for weakness. The oath demanded they save everyone, and every member of the team felt the weight of that responsibility. During a brief rest in a hidden canyon, Kane spoke to his team. We are halfway there. The Vorath think they can stop us. They think humans and Illyrians are weak because we are few. But we are stronger than they know. We have courage, we have brains, and we have each other. That is why we survive. That is why we save them all." The team nodded, renewed determination shining in their eyes. Humans inspired courage, but they also relied on teamwork. Every Illyrian soldier, every human tactician, every freed colonist was a part of this mission. Together they were unstoppable. As night fell, the storm worsened. The energy spikes from the planet's magnetic field created violent electrical arcs across the surface. Kane's team had to navigate through these arcs carefully. One misstep and they could be struck instantly. "Watch the ground and the air," Kane warned. "Don't rush. Move with caution, but move fast." A Vorath patrol appeared, unexpectedly blocking the canyon path. Kane quickly assessed the situation. There was no room to fight head-on. The colonists were too vulnerable. Arlen, create a diversion. Lyra, flank left. We draw them away from the colonists and use the storm to cover our movement. The plan worked. The patrol was confused and scattered by the simultaneous distractions. Kane's team guided the colonists through the canyon, moving swiftly but silently. The Vorath were powerful, but humans and Illyrians were clever. Every step was calculated. Every action had a purpose. Finally, they reached the shuttle's extraction point. The valiant horizon hovered above, engines glowing against the dark storm. Kane counted the colonists carefully, not one missing. The oath had been fulfilled for this part of the mission. Arlen smiled tiredly. "We did it, for now. But the Vorath will know we are here. They will come after us," Jason nodded. "Then we prepare for the next phase. The other colonies are still in danger. We cannot rest yet. The oath is clear, we save all. Every life counts." The shuttle lifted off and the storm raged below. The Vorath, realizing their first defenses had been outsmarted, began sending faster patrols, but Kane's team was ready. Humans adapted, Illyrians coordinated, and together they were a force no Vorath could anticipate. During the flight to the next colony, Kane reflected on the mission so far. The human spirit, resourceful, courageous, and unyielding, was the key to their survival. Each decision, each quick-thinking maneuver had saved lives. The oath was not just a rule. It was a challenge to rise above fear, to protect all no matter the cost. "Captain," Lyra said quietly, "the Vorath aren't just chasing us. They are learning. They will anticipate our moves next time." Jason's eyes narrowed. "Then we evolve faster than they do. Humans survive because we think ahead, we adapt, and we never give up. That's why we will protect them all." As the valiant horizon approached the next colony, a massive fortress loomed on the horizon. Vorath towers bristled with energy weapons, patrols scuttled across the cliffs, and automated defense drones circled constantly. The largest number of colonists were trapped here, and the stakes were higher than ever. Jason felt a familiar surge of determination. This was the ultimate test of the oath. Saving one group had been difficult. Saving all would require every skill, every ounce of courage, and every piece of human ingenuity he had. The shuttle doors opened, and Kane led the team out into the storm, the wind howling around them. Each step forward was dangerous, but each step was necessary. They moved like shadows, silent, careful, and relentless. Jason whispered to himself, almost as a vow, "We save them all. Every single one. The oath will be honored and humanity will not fail." Captain Jason Kane sat in the small observation deck of the Illyrian Peace Station, staring at the violet clouds of the planet below. From this height, the world looked peaceful, almost fragile. The Illyrians had built elegant cities that floated above the surface, connected by energy bridges that shimmered in the light of the two suns. Everything looked serene, yet Jason knew the danger that could erupt at any moment. Humans were rare in this sector. Most Illyrians had only heard stories of Earth and the bravery of its people. Kane, a human in his mid-30s, had earned their respect quickly. He had a calm confidence but also a sharp mind. Where machines and protocols failed, humans adapted. That ability combined with courage was why he was here. A loud chime pulled him from his thoughts. The station's comm system flickered, and the worried face of Illyrian counselor Marilla appeared. "Captain Kane," she said, her voice trembling slightly, "we have received a distress signal. It is coming from the Aelthar frontier colonies. They are under attack." "The Vorath are here," Jason's jaw tightened. The Vorath were a brutal species. They had long segmented bodies covered in dark exoskeletons. They moved fast and struck without mercy. Entire colonies had fallen in hours when they attacked. How many survivors? Kane asked. We are not sure, Marilla admitted. The signal came from a single facility, but we fear there are multiple sites. The ancient oath. She hesitated, her eyes meeting his through the hollow screen. Captain, you must understand, by the oath of our alliance, a human cannot save just one. If you intervene, you are sworn to protect all lives in danger. You cannot choose. You cannot leave anyone behind. Kane's mind raced. He had heard of this ancient oath before, passed down in Illyrian history. It was a binding promise. When humans intervened in a life-threatening situation, they must protect every life under threat, not just the easiest or closest. The oath was a mark of trust and a test of human courage. Jason stood, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He had faced danger before, but never with such a moral challenge. One life was already difficult. Many would be nearly impossible. Yet, in his heart, he knew humans did not turn away from impossible tasks. I understand, he said firmly. I'll save them all or die trying. Mirilla's face softened. We believed you would say that. But Captain, the Vorath have patrols everywhere. It will be extremely dangerous. Your team. She gestured, and a list of his available allies appeared on the screen. Your team is small. You will have to rely on strategy, skill, and the human ingenuity we admire so much. Jason nodded. Gather the team. We leave in 1 hour. The human squad assembled in the docking bay. Kane's team was a mix of humans and Illyrians. Lieutenant Arlen, a sharp-eyed human tactician, was already reviewing schematics of the colonies. Illyrian soldiers, lithe and agile, adjusted their energy harnesses and weapons, their translucent armor glowing faintly. Jason addressed them. The Vorath are fast and brutal. We don't have the numbers, but we have brains, courage, and teamwork. Remember, we cannot save just one. All lives must be protected, every single one. That is our oath. Are we ready? The team nodded, some silently, some with determined faces. The humans carried confidence, the Illyrians carried hope. Together, they made a formidable force. The journey to the frontier was tense. Their ship, the Valiant Horizon, glided through the stars at speeds faster than any Vorath patrol could detect. Jason sat in the captain's chair, hands lightly resting on the controls, eyes scanning the navigation console. Lieutenant Arlen pointed at a blinking red dot. Captain, the Vorath signal networks are active. They can track small movements near the colonies. If we're seen rescuing one group first, the others will be targeted immediately. Jason clenched his jaw. Then we can't just react. We need a plan. We need to save them all at once or not at all. Arlen raised an eyebrow. That is extremely difficult, sir. Each colony is spread over dozens of kilometers, some in underground facilities, some on cliff sides. The Vorath patrols will kill anyone moving without cover. Jason smiled faintly. Then we make them think we're everywhere. Use misdirection, use stealth, use Illyrian tech. And trust that humans can improvise when things go wrong. Arlen nodded. I like that plan. Dangerous, but clever. When the Valiant Horizon arrived near the first colony, Jason's team suited up. Illyrians' agility allowed them to scale cliffs and move silently, while humans brought ingenuity and adaptability. Jason led the first strike team to a research facility under heavy attack. Energy blasts tore through walls, and Vorath creatures scuttled with terrifying speed. But Kane and his team moved like shadows. Using portable holograms, they created decoy images of themselves, confusing the Vorath. Inside the facility, terrified colonists huddled in labs and corridors. Jason moved quickly, comforting them, guiding them to the exit points. One young scientist, barely 16, clung to Kane's arm. Will everyone be okay? She asked, fear in her wide eyes. Jason crouched to her level. Yes, we will get everyone out. I promise, you're not alone. The sound of approaching Vorath patrolling reinforced the urgency. Kane instructed the colonists to move through concealed tunnels, while his team blocked enemy movements. Every human instinct, every tactical skill was pushed to the limit. Outside, the Illyrian soldiers coordinated with Kane, setting traps and delaying Vorath reinforcements. Energy nets immobilized several creatures, giving the humans and colonists time to escape. By the time the team reached the shuttle extraction point, it became clear that the situation was bigger than expected. Multiple distress signals flickered across the comm panel. Other colonies were under attack. Jason looked at Arlen. We have no choice. We moved fast, we split into teams, and we saved them all simultaneously. That is the oath, Arlen nodded. Doable, sir, barely. But if anyone can do it, it's you. The team split into smaller units, each led by a human or Illyrian with expertise in strategy and combat. Kane personally led the group heading to the largest colony, where the most colonists were trapped. The landscape was harsh, craggy cliffs, jagged rocks, and dangerous energy storms that could strike without warning. Vorath patrols scoured the area relentlessly. Kane's team used every trick in their arsenal. Reflective shields to hide movements, sound dampeners and rapid dash maneuvers that Illyrians excelled at. At the Central Research Lab, the team encountered a Vorath war machine, a towering construct bristling with claws and energy cannons. Kane analyzed it quickly. It's heavily armored, but it has blind spots in its mobility sensors, he whispered to his squad. We distract it with decoys and move through the shadows. Keep calm, stay quiet, and trust your instincts. The plan was risky, but it worked. Humans and Illyrians coordinated perfectly. Kane personally guided several colonists through a maintenance tunnel that led outside the Vorath's line of sight. During the escape, one young colonist stumbled and screamed. The Vorath noticed. Kane acted without hesitation. Using a combination of Illyrian stealth grenades and human agility, he created a wall of sound and light, temporarily disorienting the Vorath patrols. The group escaped. Kane felt a surge of relief. One group was safe, but the distress signals reminded him this was only the beginning. Every other colony still needed rescue. In the shuttle bay, the rescued colonists were gathered. They looked exhausted and terrified, but safe for the moment. Kane addressed them gently. "You are safe now," he said, "but we have more work to do. We are not leaving anyone behind. Not one person will be left." The Illyrians and humans prepared for the next mission. The oath was heavy, but Kane felt it as a source of strength. Humans did not back down from impossible odds. Humans did not leave anyone behind. As the shuttle lifted off toward the next colony, Jason glanced at the stars. The Vorath were relentless, but he had a plan, and he had his team. Humans adapted. Humans fought. Humans survived. And this oath, this promise to protect all, was something he would honor no matter the cost. The next colony lay across a chasm, surrounded by Vorath patrols and automated turrets. Kane's team would have to move carefully, using every ounce of creativity and courage. The Vorath underestimated them because they were human. That would be their mistake. Kane's mind raced through strategies, contingencies, and fallback plans. Each plan had risks, each risk had consequences, but humans thrived in impossible situations. That was their edge. As they prepared to descend into enemy territory again, Kane felt the weight of the oath, the hope of the colonists, and the determination of his team. He whispered to himself, almost as a vow, "I will protect them all. I will not fail. Not one." The shuttle doors closed and the valiant Horizon plunged toward the next battle. The stars outside seemed endless, but Kane knew humanity's courage could reach even the darkest corners of the galaxy. And so, the first part of the mission began, a mission that would test every skill, every instinct, and every ounce of human bravery. The ancient oath was not just a rule. It was a call to rise above fear, to save not just one, but all.